This is a step-by-step guide to installing Jenkins on Linux Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. So Jenkins is an open source automation server that allows developers to easily automate software testing, building, delivery, and deployment. So let's take a look at an overview of the steps covered in this tutorial. So first, I'm going to show you how to connect to the Linux Ubuntu server via SSH and update the system repository. I'll also show you how to install the OpenJDK package. Second, I'll show you how to download and install Jenkins. And finally, I'll show you how to access the Jenkins web admin and complete the post-installation setup. So let's get started. So I've already deployed the Linux Ubuntu 22.04 LTS server. So type in the sudo su command, then type in the command IP address list grep inet. This should then return all of the IP addresses currently configured on this server. So open the default network configuration file for the system, and we're actually going to add some static IP config. So I'm going to update the DHCP4 parameter to false. So that should tell the system that we're actually going to set up a static IP address. So I'm going to type in addresses and then specify the static IP address that I'd like to set on the system. In your case, this can be different, but in my case, it's going to be a 0.105 address. I'm going to specify the default gateway for the network and then specify the name servers that the system should use when connecting out to the internet. So once you've added these changes, simply press Ctrl or press Enter and then press Ctrl X to exit the file. So I'm just finishing up adding the config, and then I will then exit out of the file. So I'm going to proceed to type in the command sudo netplan apply so that the new IP address configuration will actually take effect. So next, I'm going to open an SSH connection to the server. So open your SSH client and type in the command SSH administrator or your username at the IP address for the server. So once you've gained access to the server, type in the sudo su command, specify your root password, and then type in the apt update command. So that should then go through to update the system repository. So once the update process is complete, I'm going to paste in a command to install the Java runtime environment. So this can take a bit of some time, and you need to be a bit patient for the process to complete. But once the installation is complete, I'm then going to proceed to paste in another command to install the Java development kit. So this is actually going to be OpenJDK 11 actually. So you can either choose to use this version, or you can choose to install a newer version if you'd like. But in my case, I'm just going to use the default OpenJDK that comes with the default Ubuntu repository. So I'm going to add the Jenkins GPG key and also to add the Jenkins repository to the Ubuntu system. Then I'll just rerun the apt update command to update the system repository. So finally, I'm then going to type in a command to install Jenkins. But I think let me just update that to apt update, because when I actually checked the documentation, it says that I need to use apt update. So I'm just going to use that, though I know that using apt only would work also. So once that's been done, simply run the systemctl enable Jenkins command, and then type in the systemctl status Jenkins command just to check and ensure that the service is marked as active and running. So I'm just going to check the port that Jenkins is actually listening on. So type in the command lsoff and then specify the IP and N options. So as you can see, Jenkins is listening for connections on TCP port 8080. And as you can see, that's the name of the service there, that's Jenkins. So I'm just going to open up a new browser window, type in the IP address that I've set, and append the 8080 port number. So you simply need to copy that file and then return to the command line interface. So I'll just cut that file so that I can see the default admin password. So copy that and then paste that into the administrator password field and then click on next. So I'm just going to select the install suggested plugins option, and this should then kickstart the Jenkins installation. So that should set up Jenkins using the most commonly used standard plugins for the setup, though you can add or remove packages later. So once that's been done, I'm just going to add the first admin user. So you just simply need to type in your username and password, as well as your full name and your valid email address. So once that's done, click on the save and continue button. So from here, we should actually now see a instance configuration page. So just leave that as it is, and then click on the start using Jenkins button. So this is the Jenkins dashboard, and from here you can now start using the system for software automation purposes. So that's been it, guys. That's a quick look at how to set up Jenkins. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And please also share this video with your peers, colleagues, and friends. I hope this tutorial has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.